Is this the total size of the class? There will be more? Probably not. Will there be more? Are they going to come today or next week? They will come today. I mean, some requirements. After that, we were supposed to start at 3. Hello, good afternoon. Good to meet another set of students, another batch of students at SAB. I have been teaching at SAB for more than 3 years, I guess now, around 10 batches. So second year, second semester, you have this subject that is operations management. And I am the one who is going to conduct lectures on that. Partly I am responsible for covering the content. And you are also responsible for the second part. You should regularly attend lectures, study the topics, follow the course outline, and do your part to understand these topics. And then, of course, complete assignments, get ready for the exams, and get through the subject. I am partly responsible. Who is responsible for the other part? Hello? Who are responsible for the other part? That is you. Individually, you as a group, you are responsible for that. I am not fully responsible for the entire responsibility. I think there are some others who have joined online. Hope you can hear us. Can you? Usually, do they talk? Can you hear us? I mean, can you see us? Can you?
Yes, we can hear
you. These instructions are relevant for you as well, though you are not physically here. Right. Now, you are specializing in applied accounting. Hey, hello, Dina. Hello. When you hear me, I'm going to be happy to be here. Google me, I'm going to be just start with something. So, you are specializing in applied accounting, so you are interested in knowing more accounting related subject, but this is something else, unfortunately. What is that subject? Something called operations management. And by any chance, you studied a subject called operations management before? Probably no. Probably no. Do you think that a subject like this will be useful for you? Don't know. Is that? Right. Now, when you complete your business degree, so you are specializing in applied accounting, it's a business degree. This is one area of business that you must be aware. And that is the area that we are focusing is operations management. So, as an accountant, as an auditor, or as an accounting professional, one day, probably after 3 to 5 years time, so 2 to 3 years time, 5 years time. When you become, you need to have this understanding also to some extent. That is why you have this subject. There are no any other subject you complete this content. So it's very important for you. Let's understand today, the first lecture, what this is all about. Why operations management is important for businesses. So in business education, like management students like you, why should you know operations management? So that is what we will complete. The first topic that is on introduction to operations management, where we will have a content to define operations management. You know, as any new subject, right? We define it and identify the scope of the subject. And then the importance of this subject, operations management, for business organizations, and also for business students like you. I haven't shared it, is that? Okay. Just get a confirmation whether they can see the screen now.
Yes, we can see the screen, sir. Thanks.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of screen. Thank you. So we were talking about learning outcomes. The first one is to define the subject and identify the scope of it, and identify and describe the importance of this subject for businesses and also for business students like you. This is the second main thing that we try to do. So you all are specializing in accounting. One day, if you happen to become an operations manager, what their responsibilities are. Probably you may not become operations manager, but you have to support operations managers in organizations. So you should know what they are supposed to do, and then how accountants can help them. You as auditors one day, what you should know about it. In addition to that, to answer questions in the final paper, you should know these details. So hopefully this is what we try to cover today. In addition to that, next week, if time doesn't permit today, we will also identify what we mean by an operation system, its components, basic things that you should know, and then identify the components of operation system as well. Second slide, third slide, I have given you few definitions just to start it. Right? What operations management is, you can read and try to understand it. To write down additional notes, you can use your notes. When you go through these two definitions mentioned here, you will get a simple idea, but begin. What operations department or operations function of the business is supposed to do? What do you think? Not a difficult thing. This is not the first time we have heard of it, right? In a business, there are different functional areas, let's say different departments, namely, there's a finance department, finance function. And the same manner, they have marketing function as well. Have you studied financial management at these basics? Yeah. And then how about marketing? Are you aware of marketing and the role of marketing there in a business? Role of marketing managers, have you covered that? Yeah. Now you know both of them. The same manner, there are other departments like accounting. Then of course HR. Have you also studied HR? In addition to all those, they have another department called operations department. You know, in some industries, this is known as operations department, and especially in manufacturing industries, this is known as manufacturing department or production department. Production department, of which the main responsibility is what? What they are supposed to do? That is what we try to understand. Very simple. They are responsible for producing the final outputs the business sell in the market. They are supposed to produce outputs in an efficient and effective manner. Okay? They are the ones who are producing them. So, you know, there are basically two types of industries. One is manufacturing industry and the other one is manufacturing and services, right? So there are two types of industries. One is manufacturing. They have completed them. You studied them under business studies. When you do your A levels in commerce stream. Manufacturing industry, and the other one is called services or service industries. You know the difference, right? So in manufacturing industries, the output they produce is known as products or goods. Right? Goods. They produce products. Goods. Right? Whereas in service industry, they produce services. Products are tangible. Services are mostly intangible. Give examples. When you look around, you may come across different industries, different products, right? From cup of yogurts to packet of biscuits to garment items to pair of shoes to so an automobile on the road. All such products have come through manufacturing processes. Some organizations, through their production activities, their factories, they have produced them and introduced to the market. Packet of biscuits, pair of shoes, garment item, everything. Or automobile item or the car, or aircrafts, whatever. Everything. So manufacturing industries are there producing goods. And then services, some examples. Well, from educational institutes like schools to universities, are they providing products? No, they are providing services. Right? Something intangible, but something useful. Useful economically. So in healthcare industry, hospitals, what they provide is a service to their operations. And then transportation services like passenger transportation to air transportation, they provide a service. Hope you can understand. Right. So we have service industries too. And to produce products or services in such businesses, they have different department, specific department that is known as production department, operations department. So in our subject, what we are going to study? We are going to study how in the production department, the related decisions, activities should be, there are three things. One is how they should be designed, how they should be implemented, directed, and controlled. The part of the business producing products known as production system, operation system, or operational processes. Those are common terms, right? So, production system or operation system producing these outputs. So, in operations management, we study how such operations systems or processes should be designed, should be executed, and controlled. So, that is what we are going to study in operations management. Is that something new to you? Probably yes, because you are studying different accounting subjects, economic subjects, maybe even finance and marketing, right? But this is different. One might think now, how come management students, or why should management students study these operations? Because basically operations are more technical and technology related activities. See, at a biscuit factory, how biscuits are manufactured. Is that something to do with, is there something to do with business students? Or is that a technical process? It's basically a technical process, technological aspect, but business students should know how the production activities taken place. That is why this subject. Right? That is very useful for business students. I hope that is somewhat clear. You will understand as we move forward. So in operations management, about what we are interested at? We are interested at processes producing final products. Write it down somewhere. Right? We are interested at, or we are interested about the processes used for producing products or services. We also consider this term also, the system used for producing products or services, we call it operation system. What is the name of it? Operation system. And how that system should be designed, how that system should be operated and controlled is what we are trying to understand. New area, but very useful, practical subject. Write down some points, otherwise you don't remember everything. Right? Take little time for that, that's all right. I'm sorry for the delay in uploading the lecture materials, otherwise we could have taken a print out. We go to the slide number and write down whatever the additional points. Next week, I will make sure that I will upload the lecture materials in advance so that you can take a print out now. By writing down some feedback, and some students can ask, if certain terms are not clear, you can simply ask what's the meaning of each term or what, something that you don't understand. It's clear. Operations management can be defined as the systematic design, direction, and control of processes that transform operations inputs into outputs. Outputs could be the products or services for internal customers as well as external customers. Internal customers, Sometimes in the same business, right, some outputs produced in one department, one factory will be used in the next production process as an input. For example, one common example, if you consider most contributing industry to the export market in Sri Lanka, export operations in Sri Lanka, garment factories. Right? So one of the leading garment, one of the leading business in garment industry is the MAs, mass holdings. So in addition to producing garments, they have their business on fabric manufacturing. In the fabric manufacturing processes, what they produce, as the output, they produce fabric. Such fabric is used in the garment factories as the input. So the output transferred to the next production step, next factory to complete the product. So the customers are not external customers, maybe the internal within the same company, right? Maybe subsidiary companies, or maybe the group of companies within operating within the same group of companies. It could be either such different SBUs or within the same factory, different production steps, internal customers. Or else to external customers, they are the outside customers. Right? Not belonging to the same company, but outside customers. It could be in a B2C market, in a B2C market, outside customers could be customers, consumers. B2C, business to consumer. Right? So the external customers could be external consumers. Sometimes businesses supply their output to B2B. They cater another business market, business to business. So their customers are other business organizations, another business organization. So external customers could be another business. Say for an example, a tire factory in Sri Lanka producing tires for an automobile manufacturer operating in Japan. So their output as an input to the automobile factory. Or sometimes business would cater to government markets also. Governments, government projects, government institutes. So the external customer could be the government of the country. Or ministries, government, departments. So external customers could be like those. Is that clear? I hope so. That is clear. So how to design those processes and directed and controlled. An easy task. The task is mainly given to the management. We call them operations managers. The second definition here, almost the same idea, except these processes. It could be either operational processes or this term, what we call operation system of the business. So operations management is a comprehensive field of management that involves in designing the operation system, operating and controlling it to create the firm's primary outputs like products or services in an efficient and effective manner. They are also responsible for making improvements to the same operation system time to time. Improvements, changing the existing operation system. Due to various different reasons, businesses are supposed to improve the system as well. Let's discuss later. I hope that is clear then. They are supposed to design it, they are supposed to operate it and control it. And then time to time, when requirements are coming, they are to upgrade it as well. Who are doing that? Operations managers. This subject we try to understand their responsibilities. For the first time, is that? Have you studied them before? You know, for A levels, you have 1 or 2 topics, but that is not enough. What are operations in businesses? Now, among other departments like finance, marketing, right? Operations in businesses is a primary business function, primary one. Without that, businesses can't operate. Likewise, we consider these two as well. Product development or R&D is another primary function. Marketing is another primary function. But finance professionals think they are also a primary function. Coming to value addition, value creation, well, they are important, but these 3 are the most contributing primary functions in the business. Operations is one of them. So the activities of manufacturing or production or operations coming under operations management. The main, operations mainly involved in this thing in the business. What is that? Something called value creation or value addition. Consider it as value creation. So it is the operations department. And let's say it's the operations department mainly contributing to value creation. Value creation. Have you heard of it before? Yes. Value creation. Is that important for a business? Yes. And value creation in both manufacturing industries and service industries. How operations or production or manufacturing involved in value creation? Shall we take one example and quickly see? Right. Say now the same example, apparel industry, garment factories. Through operations or through manufacturing, how they add value, how they create value in that industry. Have you been to a garment factory before? Have you? No. By any chance, have you visited any factory? If so, what they are? One of the visit factories. So maybe for assignment purpose, education purpose, maybe students industry visits. One of the factories are again. Pardon me? Please go ahead, yeah. Manufacturing factories like what? Cable manufacturing. Wow, interesting. Like ACL or Sierra cables. Wow, interesting. Sierra cables. At the output, they produce different designs of cables, different types of cables used in their production facilities, their factory, their machinery, their workers, so that is how. And for that, what they utilize as the inputs, various different ingredients, right? Materials, raw materials, and other various other ingredients they use to produce the cables. There, copper and various other ingredients, raw materials, plus rubber compounds, synthetic materials to cover them and more. Right? So using such raw materials, inputs, and using their technology, production steps, and factory workers, what they do is they convert those raw materials into cables, of which the value is higher than the cost of all these materials. right? When they calculate the cost of all the materials they utilize and the value of the final product, there's a gap. From where that value has come? It is through the production. It is through the operations that value has been created. Right? Greater the value they add, higher the profit margins they can have. That is the importance of that for a business. Higher the value they add, higher the profits they can make in the market. So that is cables manufacturing. What are the other factories you have visited? Maybe garment factories? No, you haven't. Maybe tile manufacturing? No. Have you visited tea factories? During your visits to rural area or Padulla, right? Have you visited tea factories at least?
Yes.
Because there are many tea factories here. So that's a typical example. What is the main ingredient they use? Fresh tea leaves gathered. Every day in the afternoon, they are delivered to the tea factory. Have you seen? Right. So then at the factory, there are different production steps. They may keep it for a few hours. Initial stage, I can't exactly remember the steps, but just find little detail, some more details. What are the different steps then? Maybe after a few hours time, right? In each step, they may spend a few hours time. Within a day or 2 or 3 maximum, 2 days, 3 days, they are converted into tea powder, bulk tea. That is the output of a tea factory. So that is more valuable than the from where that value has come, from where that value has been added through the production. Through the production steps. That is what we call value creation or value adding. Production. It's interesting to see. So in almost all the manufacturing industries, we can clearly see how value is added. So the cost of all the materials, let's say cost of all the inputs. When you compare the value of the output, usually which one is greater than which one? This is greater than this one. From where that value has come? It is through operations the value has come. So for business, this value creation is important. Clear? We are going to study about that system. How to design it, how to operate it, how to control it, and as and when required, how to improve it. Value creation. If there's something new to you, write them down, find a little more details. So that is about write it down. How about in services? Can we identify the value creation in services? Let me take one example like a restaurant. Like, let's say Pizza Hut. Right? They have well designed operation system. Right? And what do? Do they produce something or do they create and deliver a service? What do you think? In the operations, what do they do? Do they produce something or do they just provide a service in the operations? Do you understand what I'm saying? Pizza Hut wagi thanaka. Yagi egolange operation system ekේ. In the operation system, do they produce a product or do they just provide a service? Well, that is different. They also produce, right? They produce a product, that is food items, in one side of the operations, and the other side of the operations, they deliver it and they also provide a kind of service operations. It's a mixture of production process and service process. Production part you can understand using various different ingredients, they process them into pizza. So the value is created, right? And service part, sometimes they provide dining experiences for customers inside the restaurants. Otherwise, they deliver their food items to the customer's doorstep. That is the delivery part of it. So, either case, or in both cases, they create value. In both dining and takeaway or home deliveries, they create value. For that, they use their operation system. What we mean by operation system there? The mechanism they use. Maybe their technology, their operating staff, right? Their operating equipments, they create it. Without that, can the business survive? No, that is the core of the business. Without operations, no business. Without production, nothing to sell in the market. If you don't sell anything, you don't have revenue. If you don't have revenue, no profits, no transactions. So accountants don't have work to do. Auditors don't have evidences to check. Isn't so? Operations, very important for any business in any industry. Any quick questions? ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. That clear? Let me ask a simple question. Now, operations is the central mechanism or the main way of value creation. Are there any other processes also, other systems also in the business that involves in value creation? What do you think? Is that only through operations business add value? Are there any other processes, other systems? Production again, the value creation again the business again. What do you think? Production again, the value creation is Are there any internal processes or external processes through which we can add value? What do you think? One might think, yes, through marketing can we add value? What do you think? Yes, yes. Marketing also involved in increasing the value. Okay? So that is what you studied under marketing. How can marketing add value? Especially through branding. Through branding, positioning, they add value. Through communications, can they add value? Of course, yes. You will understand things later, but be aware. It is not only through operations, there are other business functions also, like branding or marketing. Businesses can add value. How about transportation? Distribution. Can a business add value through such processes? Yes, sir. Through distribution activities, they can add value. Transportation, they can add value. But what is the main mechanism? It is through production. It is through operations. Value is created. Okay. I hope that is clear. Now, this subject, operations management, is a combination of many different base subjects. Basically, it has a root. It comes from industrial engineering side of it, because basically the topics and various different technological concepts, technical concepts, they come from industrial engineering. So this is not a management subject. Basically, it is an engineering subject. If you visit factories, like biscuit factories, beverage companies, right, or power plants, operations managers are coming from technical background, in the engineering background. Because to manage operations, design, operate and all, it requires a technical knowledge. However, when the subject evolved, various different management subjects have contributed to the development of this subject. Right? So many subjects like economics, or management in general, other physics and physical sciences, and then of course statistics, operational research, decision making tools and all, and then now IT and technology in general. Now analytics and all, there are many subjects that have contributed to this subject. Now, this is a combination of many subjects. Management undergraduates like you, we will cover only the basic areas. So that is what. We will have a 5 minutes break in class without leaving. So that is what we discussed. We can have a 5 minutes break. After that, we will move to the next part. Those are connected online. Yes. It also have connected online. Just only that due to a technical issue, internet failure, disconnected from the meeting. Now you are connected. And one more thing, there are 18 participants who have joined online. In the front, first slide of the handout, you have my contact number there, right? Can you please WhatsApp me your message to update your parts, your classroom attendance today.
So which information you need, sir? Basically
message?
our name and the number, sir?
Your registration number and the name.
Okay, sir. Noted, sir.
Yeah, that is one. Registration number and your name. There are 18 participants. I will manually mark that. I'll update the time before coming to the lecture. Right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Fine. Can you quickly move to the other part? Now, in this slide, we try
අපි දරුෂ්ක මචං මේ මට LMS එකේ මේ සර්ගේ ඩීටේල් පෙන්වන්නේ නැහැ. මේ ලොග් වෙන්න මේ page එක පෙන්වන්නේ නැහැ මචං. page එක පෙන්වන්නේ නැහැ කියන්නේ මේ operation management කියන subject එක මට පෙන්වන්නේ නැහැ මචං. අනිත් ඒවා නම් මට අවුලක් නැහැ අනිත් ඒවා පෙන්වනවා. මේ සර්ගේ contact number එක ඔයාලට හම්බුනේ මචං මට පොඩ්ඩක් share කරනවද?
Right. Top level, corporate level operations positions, mostly of Chief Operating Officer, COO. In some other industries, there can be titles like Director Operations, Group Head Operations, kind of positions are also there. They are at corporate level. With other corporate managers, they make decisions about the operations department. And directly reporting to who? Chairman, Managing Director, or CEO, right? We are sorry that you disconnected from the meeting, but we didn't discuss much. We are talking about operations managers. So they are the management staff of an organization who are responsible for operations related activities, operations related decisions. So like in any other function, they are divided into three levels, layers. At the top, we have corporate operations managers. Particularly, there can be titles like Chief Operating Officer, COO, who head of operations, director operations kind of positions they are at the top level. Okay? They are responsible for the operations performance of the business. How about the middle layer? What are the common middle layer managerial positions? Working or responsible for operations performance, operations department. What are the common titles? What are the number in the What are the common managerial titles? Simply operations managers. They can be known as operations managers or factory managers, plant managers. Write them down, right? Write them down. So at middle level. Factory managers, production managers, operations managers, plant managers at the middle level. Who would be particularly responsible for that, the operations of that production facility, factory, plant. Under them, they have their assistants, like assistant factory manager, assistant production manager. Right? They are also coming under the middle category. They are also coming under the middle category. Assistant factory managers. Assistant plant or assistant production managers and all, they come under the middle category. Whom we call lower level operations managers. What are the common job titles, managerial titles? Hello? Front level? Sorry, we call them not necessarily front level, but lower level managers. Supervisors, production supervisors, operation supervisors or production supervisors, production executives. For production team leaders, those are also low level managerial positions in my operations department. Production executives, production supervisors, or production team leaders, right, who may implement the decisions coming from the middle management and getting things done from the factory workers. They closely work with the factory workers and they are responsible for daily targets, weekly operations targets and everything. Not an easy task. And under them, they have operating employees. They are not managerial level, they are the employees. Is that clear? So 3 layers, top layer or top level, middle and then lower level operating manager, operations managers. What do you think? In our subject, about whom we are studying mostly? Is that about corporate level operations managers or middle level or lower level operations managers? Well, we are mostly interested in knowing the middle level responsibilities. What they are supposed to do, what decisions they should make together with top management that they should implement with the support of lower level managers. Clear? Write it down somewhere in our subject. We are studying middle level operations managers' responsibilities. We are going to study responsibilities of middle level of factory managers, production managers, plant managers. What decisions they are supposed to make, what responsibilities they hold, how they should perform, likewise. Let's quickly see what are the common areas, common responsibilities that site management staff is responsible. What you see in slide number 7 are many such operations management responsibilities, common responsibilities. The jobs of operations managers. I'm not going to explain everything here because from today onwards or from next week onwards, we are going to take 1 or 2 at a time and then discuss them in detail. This is just to identify common operations management responsibilities. So they are responsible for bringing new technologies, production related technologies and methods to the business. Operations factories. They are responsible for working on long-term plans for operations. We call them operation strategies. And change them appropriately to match with the market. And make other operational decisions aligning with such strategies. Likewise, there are many things. But at undergraduate level, we don't discuss things in detail just to get an idea. So they are also responsible for managing product designing, new products, responsible for process designing, right? Those are technical decisions. Very important, critical decisions. They are responsible for things. At the same time, you can go through the list. There are many other decisions. They are supposed to work on facility location. They are to place the factories. They are to establish other facilities. Managing the operations in a more smooth manner. And then making decisions about operations capacities. How to utilize the spaces within the factories, within the operations facilities. Right. So we will be discussing some of these topics in our subject. Have you studied them before? Right. Would that be new to you? Yes. So I need your support. You know why we are studying them, because these are the responsibilities of operations managers. At undergraduate level, we try to get an idea of what these decisions are. In making such operations decisions, are there any factors to consider? Decision-making methods. Likewise, we try to understand. Go through the other points also. They are responsible for improving the response time. You don't know much about it yet. We'll discuss response time. When they get an order, how to quickly process the products and deliver to the customers, and thereby minimize the response time. Then only you can compete in the market. Improve the efficiency of the operations. Efficiency is one main concern, because efficiency results in the cost. Higher the efficiency, lower the unit cost. Business managers are responsible for working on efficiency and while optimizing the cost. They are responsible for enhancing productivity. Input-output ratio. And they are also responsible for managing something called quality. Quality management. Have you heard of it before? I think yes. We'll have a topic or two on that. Hello? Quality management. And most of them are coming under designing part of it. Designing operation systems. Designing processes, designing products, designing the facilities, where to locate them, layout, production processes, quality systems, and various others. This could be new to you, little more technical. If you have not heard of this before, this is new. How can you learn this? By just listening, thinking with me, reading the lecture materials, online videos will be useful. Not a difficult subject if you are interested about it. Very useful, practical subject. In fact, if you study them meaningfully, you will be able to use them practically. Maybe as auditors, you may be able to use operations practices. Maybe as accountants, you can use these concepts when you plan and provide accounting services, accounting related solutions. As auditors, when you plan an audit project and complete the audit operations, you can use some of these operations management knowledge. You understanding? Because auditing is also a process. You plan to start a auditing firm one day. Your operations management knowledge would be useful. If you think of starting a business, maybe a manufacturing business, service business for yourself, operations management knowledge would be useful. Very practical, very useful subject. Areas like this is especially this responsibility is called operations resource planning, production scheduling and all. That is according to the market demand for your products. If that you are working for a manufacturing firm like Biscuits or like Munchie, or beverage supply like Ceylon Cold Stores, Elephant House, or any other manufacturing business. Now, you have to plan the production according to the market need. Because for the production, it takes few weeks, few months sometimes. So you plan ahead what you are going to supply for the next 2 quarters. And accordingly, you plan the production so that you have order the raw materials and other things from your suppliers to start production on time, complete the production on time and deliver the product to the market without any shortages. Can you understand that? For that, you have to plan at such areas, such decisions coming under the operations manager's responsibility. Resource planning, production scheduling, material requirements planning, inventory control. We will touch upon some of these topics. In services, improving customer services, in relation to work systems, how factory workers and other workers utilized in the business operations. So, developing people, developing teams, improving work systems under the responsibility of operations. Managing operations resources, maintaining operations resources, and managing improvements as and when necessary. Coming under operations. It could be about quality, it could be about cost, and these are the different responsibilities. Clear? Now you have the course outline with you. For a moment, just have a look. So those are the topics in the course outline that we try to cover. So this is the course outline that you can see in the LMS. So these are the different topics we are supposed to discuss. After the introduction, we will be talking about product design, service design, process design, operations capacity, process decisions, layout, work system design, facility location, quality, production planning, scheduling, resource planning, materials requirements planning, inventory management, supply chain management, lean operations, just-in-time operations. You see, those are the different topics we are looking. Who said the course outline and the topics? It's your institute, right? What I'm trying to do here, is to provide you the required knowledge. Useful content. Most details are given here. Just go through them. Right. That is the first part of our topic, our introductory discussion. You can ask any questions. Is it clear how this subject is different from other subjects you have studied so far? This is about production operations. At least, do you have a simple idea why for management students like you, this subject is important? If you go to the last slide here, why operations management should be studied? Operations management is one of the major functions of any organization. So management students like you all should study how this department, this function operates. Management students, future managers, future entrepreneurs should know how products and services are produced and supplied to the market. Without knowing that, they don't know how to manage the business. So even as accountants, you need that knowledge. Even as finance managers, you need this knowledge. To become a general manager, managing director, of course you need this knowledge. So as management students, you want to know what operations managers do. Operations is an expensive department, a costly part of any business. To manage it, you should know. All managers, including senior managers of various different departments, maybe accountants, auditors, finance managers, marketing managers, even HR managers, should know operations management. And that is why we say business education is incomplete without this subject. Have a kind of overall idea. You need to have a simple idea at least about operations management. So you are lucky to have this subject in your second year, second semester, in your undergraduate degree. You will study things in detail later. Clear? Let's take a 5 minutes break. I know you can go out and come for a small break. We started late, so that I'm not going to give a lengthy break. Let's try to stop at 5:50 or so, right? Okay, 10 minutes break. Sign it now.
Very good question.
Hello. Hello. Yes. Can you hear us?
Ma'am, बाबू मैं देती थी कि छुट्टा मैम वहाँ.
Was that a mistake? Hello. Was that a mistake or
हाँ
you have connected to the lecture?
अरे
You
बाबा.
are connected to the lecture.
काम आ रही है. हाँ.
Hello යාළුවා වගේ මම විවෘත කරගන්න.
वो ठीक है प्रैक्टिस करो.
කොහොම හරි කියයිද? Wait, let me see. මගේ contact number එක දාන්න. 717 එතකොට දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පින් නැත්නම් හැන්ඩ් අවුට් එක කියන්න එපා අය. මං හිතන්නේ දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ soft copy එකට හරි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට access තිබ්බ කියලා හිතලා තමයි මෙච්චර කරේ. නෑ. අයියෝ කියන්න ඕනේ එතකොට. Note 717 235 806. I'm sorry about that. I think settings are all like that. Not out here. PPT එක PDF එක ඒකට විතරයි. ईमेल में फॉरवर्ड कर रहा Lanka on that make welcome to Indian. There are few others to come. Anyway, let's slowly start because we run short of time. And I'm really sorry to hear that you cannot see the lecture materials of in the LMS, right? I thought that's available. Seems that is hidden for students. It seems. I have not changed the status, I guess. So you would have told me earlier. Only now I came to know that you don't have the handout. It's uploaded, but you can't see it there. I will modify the setup or changing of the setting, right? So that you will be able to see it. But for the time being, I think we will manage what we discussed today. There are a few others. Anyway, let's slowly move to the other part of the topic. Hello. Hope you remember what we studied, what we started to study here. It's about the responsibilities of operations managers. Here we understood there are many such responsibilities traditionally assigned to operations managers. Right? There are many traditional responsibilities for operations managers that are common. However, as you see here, operations managers are not just managing the operations function. This is the main responsibility, that is the core responsibility of operations managers, managing the operations function. While doing that, in modern organizations, they are also responsible for managing relationships with other departments also. Right? Hello, I hope that is clear. Managing the operations function is the core responsibility, and managing the interfaces with other departments. Managing the relationships with other departments is also a part of responsibility. So they have to work with marketing department. It is another core function. They have to work with product development department is another core function, right? So they have to manage the relationships. And with other departments also, like finance and accounting, they have to coordinate work. And the technical department, HR, information systems, IT departments, and can you understand it? Now, accordingly, the responsibility of operations managers would not be limited to managing this department, but managing other relationships also. Extended responsibility, more responsibility. Okay. Very simple points are mentioned in the handout, but you can think of the complicated relationships. Just spend 1 or 2 minutes. It's not clear to you, but say, what type of relationships with marketing? Operations and marketing. You know, in marketing, the subject you study, marketing management department is responsible for studying the market, identifying customer requirements, understanding the market and market requirements, and all. Operations management will have to work cordially with them to understand the market requirements and then work in making some of the marketing decisions as well. Tell them what aspects are required to highlight in the marketing campaigns, what features of your product, what operations capabilities, operations strengths you have to be communicated to the market. Likewise, there are connections between marketing and operations. Hope you can understand. In the same manner, operations will have to work with product development. PD. We will discuss that as the second topic. Product development, they are the technical team, right? With the engineering background or the product development background, they involved in product designing. So they have to work with product development to get new product ideas, services, new products, right? And communicate them back what they can do better operations and together decide what and what products would be more practically manufacturable. Right? Accordingly, identify good products, profitable products for the business. Can you understand that? So they have to work with other departments. In the same manner, they have to work with the finance and accounting department. Cordially manage the work to meet the financial requirements. Work together. Now, finance department, what they are doing? Finance department, they are the ones who generate funds for the business and then spending, allocating those funds for various different projects. Okay? Finance department. So, what are the main projects that finance will allocate funds? It could be for new factories, new machinery, new plants, new technologies also. So they have to coordinate work with operations. Operations department is responsible for working with them as well. Can you understand it? Together. How about accounting? To provide whatever the information required for accounting purposes. Right? Assume that for the operations they need different materials. And then they have to work with their suppliers. Accordingly, the relevant documents, like you have to place orders and work with your suppliers, get the payments arranged, okay? And then complete the settlements. Operations will have to work with finance and accounting. Other technical departments, right? Technology department, the technical functions to make sure the equipments are up and running and they are well maintained. Right. Technologies are updated regularly to match with the market requirements and all. So they are supposed to work with technical department. Operations department, to work with finance, HR department as well. You know, HR. So in any industry, could be manufacturing, could be services. Which department accounts for highest percentage of employees? From where they come? Are they from sales and marketing? Are they from finance or accounting, or from operations or production? Maybe 70% of employees of the organization attached to the operations related work. So they are recruitments, selection, compensation, training, and can you understand it? So they have to coordinate work with HR department also. So as other departments. Is it clear? The operations managers are supposed to not only manage the operations department, but also manage the interfaces with other departments. Clear? Those are the responsibilities. At least those extended responsibilities. Can you develop a good answer for a question like this now? Describe briefly the main operations management responsibilities. Selecting an industry. At least 6, 7, 8 key responsibilities you have to identify and describe. Not. It's difficult now, but when you complete the course, that will be easy. Another question like, describe briefly the type of relationship between operations and other key departments of a business. Will you be able to do? That's supposed to. Even a little advanced question like this. You as an applied accounting student, future accountant or auditor, why you need operations management related knowledge when performing as an accountant, as an auditor? You should be able to show a few points at least. And why for an auditor, operations management knowledge is required. Clear? Any questions? Those who have connected through online, you also can ask some questions. Any questions? Probably last 15 to 20 minutes, right? Now, when we look at modern businesses, most of these industries now, they are the operations managers have more and more responsibilities than these traditional responsibilities. More challenges. You know why? Compared to these traditional businesses, now the business environment has been changed. Business environment that has become more competitive. Right? In each industry, it has become competitive. So that is why the focus of operations management has been changed. This slide number 9, when you get the access, you will compare it later. But we can, this slide I have taken from our textbook. There, hello. There, you can identify that the main focus of operations management has been changed over a period of time. For a very long history, the main focus was on cost. How to manage operations, how to produce products at the lowest cost. And for that, how to improve the efficiency, how to improve the productivity, right? And how to utilize your resources most efficient manner. So cost concern, cost focus was the main concern. And after some time, especially in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, 90s, 40s, 50s, 60s. That has been gradually shifted to quality focus. Coming 90s, 70s and 80s, cost focus and quality focus. Quality. How to ensure the product quality. How to ensure your process quality. Quality management systems and various other things have become very important, and for that various different techniques. But recently we see some more focuses like customization focus. Provide customized products that matches with the customer requirements. Exactly. Especially in 21st century, that is known for globalization focus. Globalization. Now the entire world has become one place. Customers in different countries, different regions, they no longer expect their country to produce whatever they need, but quality products, lower prices from any part of the world. So businesses, operations managers in today's context, they compete with everyone. Can you understand that? They have huge challenge. A huge challenge. That is the nature. The business environment has been changed. Shall we quickly identify what are the main changes taken place in operations and what are the main practices? For that, just Google, right? You may individually or together just find some up-to-date information. What are the latest practices of operations management? Just do a Google survey and a Google search and identify what are the, now we identify traditional responsibilities. Do a quick Google search and identify latest operations management concerns. Practices. Identify at least 2, 3, 4. Write down at least 1 or 2, right? On your handbook or on your notebook. What are the latest? Write down at least 3. At least 3. New practices, new operations management concerns. Since we don't have much time, no need to describe it. Things in detail, no, just identify few points. Write down at least 2, 3 latest developments, latest concerns, latest practices. Because we just identify traditional responsibilities, traditional concerns. What are new? Of course, the technology, and in that also artificial intelligence, use of artificial intelligence in operations, right, is one of the main developments. True. Right. Technology in general, right? Technology has been improved drastically. Automation. Okay, we'll come there, right? So, artificial intelligence, use of artificial intelligence for operation is another one main aspect. Use of technology for upgrading operation systems, processes is another area. Thank you. What else? Yes, another thing that is the sustainability concerns. Have you noticed that? Have you identified? What does that mean simply? Environmental concerns. Green production processes, clean production, minimizing environmental damages and all has been one main concern. Very important. Especially developed part of the world, customers are very much concerned. So, can factories here in Sri Lanka or this part of the world just ignore that? Or whenever we do the production for them, follow. Actually, managing all these things, efficiency, productivity, very important, but sustainability. You had a point. Customer centricity. Customer, especially customization, what we call. Depending on the customer requirements, you'll have to customize your products. Customization. Now we call it mass customization and all. These are very important to win the market, to be competitive in the market. That's challenges. In addition to traditional operations, now they have to think of how to customize your products. What technology to use, what machinery to use. Your customer-centric approach, customization. You may have identified. What else? Hello, from this side. Human-centric. Human-centric operations management, that is something to do with minimum exploitation, and better working conditions for factory workers, and is that fair trade, compensated adequately, minimize child labor. Have you noticed that? All days they just ignore all this. Whatever their concern was, how to produce at low. But now, no. Fair employment opportunities, no discrimination, no child labor, fair trade. But you mentioned that, what was the term used there? Human-centric operations management. So leading clients who are producing maybe in Bangladesh, Nike, had a lot of issues with that. When it was declared, when it was recognized that at their factories they have used child labor, a huge issue. No longer they can't. And no longer they can do that. And pay salaries. Female workers are often paid low salaries. and used for extended hours. Those are now being questioned. Right? So fair employment conditions, safety working environment for them has become very critical. Understanding? What else? Real-time data monitoring. Real-time data monitoring and sharing it. Like real-time data monitoring. So that using different technologies. What is the main technology? What is the main approach for that? Real-time data sharing and all. Information systems. Use of information systems. ERP and all. And thereby one centralized database and giving the access to all the parties involved and sharing the up-to-date information and technologies like blockchain and all, secure transaction data transferring. Those are trends. Without them now, operations management is small to medium businesses still struggling, but large scale organizations anyway already adopted. Right? You as managers going to join such organizations in future within next few months to few years back. Clear? You must be ready for it. You're not going to become operations managers. Accountant, auditors, audit trainees, whatever. Right? Must be ready for that environment. Audit firm එක normal ඉස්සර වැඩ කරා වගේ දැන් කරන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ තව දවස්. You must be ready with digital accounting solutions, practices available, software solutions and all. Auditing also will be changed. No longer you don't have, no longer you have these document evidences, it will be digital evidence. So likewise. One or two more other trends, other key developments. Just in time has been there for a very long time, maybe at least 2 decades, 3 decades, but still the concern is there. Now, more than just in time, before Corona pandemic, that was one of the main practices, but now they question, can we survive it just in time? In case supply chain has become very important. More importantly, have you noticed supply chain disruptions and supply chain risks and all? So just adapting just in time may not be recommended now. So having some backup plans in case you can't order, you can't get the product on time. So what are the other options you have? So they must be ready to face such supply chain risks. How to face? Risk management has become anyway very important in operations and supply chain these days. Risk management, like in accounting or IT and risk management has become very important. How to minimize the risk of failure. Have you noticed that? Risk management. Thank you. What else? Those are the points. Oh, okay, outsourcing. That has been there for a few decades now. Still now, that's at peak. Outsourcing. You know the meaning. We will discuss later. Right? So, not required. One company do everything. No. You can keep some core operations for internal and outsource other processes, other operations to most appropriate external suppliers and get things done faster at low cost. Outsourcing and global supply chain, right? Not restricted to local supply. You now work with global suppliers. Factories like MAS, Trendix, producing garment items here in Sri Lanka may use materials coming from Kenya, Bangladesh, or various other countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Taiwan, China. Right? And products are sold in Europe, US, globalized supply chains. That is the trend. Automobiles manufactured or assembled in China, Korea, Vietnam, using the components from various different countries, is sold in Europe, US, other developed parts, globalized. Okay? So those are the things. Can you understand it? Very good. I think you are on the right track. So that business environment has been changed. Business environment has been changed. Higher quality expectations. Customers expect more choices, more variety. Technology has been developed faster. Often new products are introduced to the market. Ethical concerns are very much appreciated. Environmental impacts are considered. More legal regulations. Security awareness. Cost-based competition. And as a result, there are many operations management responses. When you go through the lecture materials, you will come to know. Right? Changes like globalization of operation network. Information-based technologies like ERP and IT solutions, system-based operations, co-creation of services, internet-based integration of operations activities, data transferring and supply chain management, CRM, flexible working patterns, mass customization, lean processes, including just-in-time, environmental sensitive product designs, supplier partnerships, risk management, failure analysis, business recovery planning. All such have become very important in today's month. This is just to tell you. But in addition to traditional operations management decisions and challenges, right? There are these added challenges and responsibilities. Is that clear? So somewhat, I think having a simple idea is enough. So as a result, there are many new challenges for operations managers. Challenges like facing globalization challenges, facing supply chain partnering requirements. You may not understand everything now, but as we move forward, you will understand. Facing environmental protection requirements and sustainability requirements. Performing as a responsible, socially responsible organization. Ethical aspects of it, as we have identified, and other things like innovation, technology management, lean operations, risk management, change management, stakeholder likewise. Right? That is to understand how businesses have to reply now, respond now, so that the operations managers respond. Clear? Right. We discussed a lot of things. In summary, what we discussed, we understood what operations management is, who we call operations managers, different levels, and their responsibilities. At the end, what we discussed, recent challenges. Right. Talk to me during week. Take care of yourself. I will update the attendance. Talk to me.